Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mike, and today I'm sitting down with Lokenplays, an upcoming member of the cast of Neural Nexus Zero. Loken, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Absolute pleasure, Mike. Thanks for having me, man.
So we're gonna jump right into it. And Loken, do you have any experience in tabletop roleplay gaming?
So I'm going to be at a disadvantage in this one and say, unfortunately, not. I've always wanted to get into it, but I've never had the opportunity till now. So I haven't got any experience, but I've watched plenty of campaigns and things on Twitch and on YouTube. So.
Excellent. And that kind of leads us into our next question: is what made you want to dip your toes into this pool?
Honestly, I mean, roleplay games. I mean, they've been around for ages, and I love the ability to be able to immerse yourself in a tailor-made campaign and the story of characters going and experiencing a world, and playing within basically an ever-evolving story. So for me, it's been tough to try and find a cast of people I can join. And even when I was younger, trying to get people down around the table, it's kind of it was always a little bit more difficult. So I've always wanted to do it, never had the opportunity, and then you came to me and was like, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, yes, I would love to, yes, please.
And I think that's a pretty universal thing. We had a discussion the other day about we live in a time now where this stuff is a lot more accessible to everybody. And, growing up, it was hard to find a group. And it sounds like in the last 10 to 15, 20 years, that's the same kind of thing. But I think Twitch and products like Fantasy Grounds have opened that up so that people have more opportunity
Absolutely.
to play.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, you'd think that something that was just quite sociable would require you to physically be in the presence of other people, but it's the opposite. It's true. It's a case of it's really hard, or was really difficult, to get a group of people together and then actually have somebody that you'd have some sort of chemistry or mesh with. Because at the end of the day, when you're playing characters, you're gonna have at least some semblance of getting along with one another, so you can bounce off one another and roleplay off of one another. So. Twitch and avenues like Fantasy Grounds have given rise to a lot of new campaigns and a real resurgence, I think, of tabletop roleplay games. And
there's a lot of really good quality content out there, because you have these people that have put years into A, tabletop gaming, and B, role playing or theater, now presenting it in a manner that it's it's very, very well done. You have things like Critical Role, Hyper RPG, and there's a myriad of others that are just phenomenal quality. So,
heck yeah, absolutely. There's some phenomenal stuff being. I mean, some of the production value and some like the highest level stuff is it's crazy good. So.
Exactly. It's show worthy rather than what I mean.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Taking a guess, what aspects of tabletop gaming, this upcoming campaign, what do you think you can enjoy the most? Like the combat, the RP, figuring out the story. Give us a little idea what you think.
I'm a absolutely massive sci-fi fan. I think anyone who's watched my broadcast will know that, given the theme of my stream.
Right.
And as a result of that, cyberpunk is a huge aspect of my love affair, just in general, of media consumption. I love cyberpunk like TV shows. I enjoy the heck out of the aesthetic, and so for me, if I were going to get into something, then a cyberpunk version of a tabletop RPG was an absolutely fantastic one to get into. So I'm looking forward to experiencing this story. I'm looking forward to getting lost in this world a bit. I'm looking forward to trying and learning a bit about how, just being one of those people who just learn how to role play with other people in this setting, and to understand what the limitations are and how far I can potentially take it. And also, because of being in a constant campaign with other people, seeing how we all evolve as characters, because obviously we all start as one thing, but I'm really hoping that we'll grow, and just things that happen in the campaign will cause our characters to gain traits and really get a life of their own.
Absolutely.
So I think the roleplay aspect is the bit I'm looking forward to the most, but I'm quite looking forward to shooting people in the head as well. So.
What has been your experience with role-playing, not necessarily in tabletop gaming, but outside that world? I know on your channel you personify a character. Is there any other avenue that you've had in that regards?
So, I mean, I would say when it comes to roleplay, I mean, my physical experiences, again, it's a little limited. I mean, I do take on a character stream these days. It's something that sort of evolved naturally, and I've really enjoyed that. Actually, I've really enjoyed it a lot. I think it's helped me a lot, both in terms of just like just confidence over anything else, and just also I think I find it fun. But other than that, I mean, you know, I have dabbled here and there in sort of like role playing inside of a game. So a bit like in Ark and in Conan, for example, I've role played characters, you know, lightly there. But beforehand, really not all that much experience. I have to be honest. I just like being a crazy son of a gun who puts on voices, and you know, we'll see what goes with it really. So I would say I was most experienced, but I'm definitely keen, if nothing else.
So my personal I've seen your stream numerous times, and I like so I think the essence of good role play, especially in a campaign like this, is just feeling the character, making decisions based on what your character would do, and looking at you play you know, the captain on your channel. It appears, I mean, you do have years of experience doing it, but it appears very natural. It doesn't to me in the outside world look like you're taking on a role. It looks like that's a, you know, a character.
Well, I mean, yeah, for the captain at least, he's a more bombastic version of myself. So for that, it's a lot easier. But when it comes to, or at least, you know, as you were saying, when it comes to a character, I feel that you've got to embody that character and sell it. So, you know, rather than thinking how would I react, how would my character react in this situation? What was his experiences that would cause him to maybe do something different to what I'd do? And I think it's a really, really wonderful opportunity to be able to explore that really.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very similar sort of skill set to acting, you know, especially the good actors out there. They'll embody their character, they'll take it on, and they'll become that. And I'm hoping to take a little bit of that and bring it to the show.
So speaking of that, brings us into our next question. You cosplay on your channel. Do you have any plans to bring any whether small or big cosplay aspects over to your character on this channel?
I do, yeah. So my character is ex-military, and as a result, I'd like to try and get something, just a little something together to try and, you know, I almost find it easier to don a uniform or a costume or something, and therefore then kind of like I'm in that mode. You know?
Okay.
So when I put the jacket on for the Lokenplays live stream, then I'm the captain. You know.
Yep.
Now I'm just me. So I just find that easy. So I'd like to try it. Yeah. I'm hopefully gonna bring a little something together.
That's excellent. I'm really excited for that. So knowing a general outline of what everybody's playing, what character do you think your character is going to gravitate towards, and what character do you think you'll have the most static with?
So that's really interesting, actually, because the nature of my particular character, David Grayson, is he's ex-military, and he was very nearly a very highly skilled operator, and as a result, I feel that his experiences as a character have made him, at least if not jaded by the world, definitely very much isolated. Doesn't like to get too close to people because of the fact that he's watched people, you know, be taken out in the line of duty, and as a result, you know, it'll probably be a case of a lot of the time he'll be very not apprehensive, but definitely I don't think he'll have great chemistry to begin with any of them, and it'll take a little while for him to kind of learn to trust them as not just these goons that he knew from, you know, his earlier childhood days, and actually be people he can rely upon in this world, because, you know, for him, trust in the man next to you is essential, because of his experiences, and also because he's had you know, tragedy befall him. So I think that when it comes to who will he rub up against, probably everyone at first. Who will he gravitate toward? I mean, me and Cyclo Jack and I, we've kind of co-developed our characters so much as they know each other a little bit better. So I'd say that in the beginning, definitely he and his character Zero will probably be the closest.
Excellent.
Although Although how close that is anyone's guess.
Excellent. So you mentioned jaded, and trust is an issue. In this world that I've created, everything breeds distrust, and that jaded, it's very well, and your character has every right to be, because it's in a very oppressive world, and the government and the mega corporations are going to do everything they can to drive those wedges between friends and family. Things like if one of the mottos of the world is "see something, say something, citizen." If they encourage people, like if a mother knows that her son is selling a legal substance, that it encourages her to turn him in for a reward, a very big reward, life-changing type things. So I think that character is going to fit very well. That whole mentality is going to fit within this campaign very well.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, some of my favorite characters from Cyberpunk universes are these jaded guys who just like, why do I even bother? And they end up by circumstance getting forced in situations where they have to care,
Yep.
Or something happens, they get forced into it, reluctantly maybe, but that's the nature of the situation, and they go with it. And again, with the way you're describing things, and just Cyberpunk in general, generally really oppressive societies, is fits. They're phenomenal worlds. They really are. They're phenomenal worlds to explore.
It's a story I've been wanting to tell for a while, and it's very exciting for me to be able to tell that and have a great cast that is gonna that identifies with the aesthetic, the cyberpunk and that whole world behind. So it's really exciting for me to grab such great people and watch how you guys flounder through the struggles I throw at you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, when you were describing the day, there'll be some interesting experiences occurring. I'm like, oh, what are you gonna do to us? That's GM's prerogative. I'm looking forward to it.
So my last question for you is, what is your favorite breakfast cereal?
My favorite breakfast cereal? Oh gosh, in an ideal world, I do like Crunch Nut cornflakes.
Okay.
I don't know if you have those in the United States, but basically they're cornflakes, but they've got honey and nuts on them, and they just taste delicious.
Oh, we have something very similar. Yeah. Good choice.
Yeah, no, it's the British in me. It's like, it'll probably be the same thing, just branded slightly differently.
Loken, thank you so much for coming today and hanging out and talking with me. My name's
Absolute
Mike.
Pleasure, my friend.
This is Lokenplays, and we'll see you in the Nexus soon.